Welcome back to the Agriculture Advertising Podcast, Longevity, Creativity, Adaptability, and Ag Sustainability with Leigh Ann Cleaver. Welcome to the program, Leigh Ann.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So you're the Executive Vice President for the ModOp Group. And when I think of Leigh Ann Cleaver, I think of like up and comer. And now I feel like as the years have went on, it's a little more old school. Can you talk about your career and kind of journey in ag marketing?
Sure, absolutely. So I grew up in Nebraska, a farming family where both of my parents were teachers. And, I came home from college and declared to my parents I was going to be an advertising major. And I still remember, my father, the farmer, and the teacher saying to me, well, how does one in advertising make money? Right? Like, but to them, it was like this totally weird concept of what is she going to do? Is this going to work out? But luckily, here we are these few years later, it's all worked out. So I spent the majority of my career in agency. So that's primarily agency, working on different agriculture and animal health clients with them on their businesses. I did for a couple of years, I got to go to the client side, which is always sort of the debate, client side, agency side. And so I got to go to the client side. I worked for Sprint for a couple of years in their brand group. So that was a great experience. I got to see the consumer side of the business from the corporate perspective. But, ultimately, like, I missed agriculture and I missed being in the community of agriculture. I missed working on the business. Most of my friends and my network was in agency and agriculture. And so I got to go back to that, to agency, and got to start an agency with a couple of my coworkers and friends in the business. And, for 20 years had the agency ourselves. And so it's been a blast. And now as a part of ModOp, it's a new chapter, and looking forward to what it brings as well.
So what was the first company you founded, Leigh Ann?
So the company that we founded was called BCS, Blaisdell Cleaver Schwabe. And so it was three of us, myself and two partners. And we had all been working together at a big agency in Kansas City, Valentine Radford, for a lot of years. And through a series of circumstances, we were all in a position where we were going to be finding new jobs. And we thought, hey, let's give it a try. Let's give it a whirl. And, due to some great friends and support systems and some clients who were willing to take a chance on us, we were able to make a go of it. So
you kind of morphed your philosophy and agency over the years. Was it based on kind of client demand or shifts in the market?
That's a good question. I think I've had the opportunity to be at big agencies and small agencies, and being at the big agency, Valentine Radford was a big agency, over 200 people, right? And so I learned the benefit of having people that had specialties in different, were specialties in their craft. But then when we started our agency, it was smaller, and we couldn't afford necessarily to have 200 people on staff, right? So how could we take advantage of those people who specialize in things, but still do it in a more agile way and still be really responsive to our clients? And so again, we were sort of able to reach out to our network and partner with people as we needed them to complete projects. So we had the benefit of the large agency, but also then being able to be smaller and more agile. In 2020, when we became part of ModOp and shifted, ModOp is also a large organization. But the way they're set up is we have 10 offices across the United States, Canada, and Panama. And so the team here in Kansas City is still almost a small center of excellence within the greater ModOp, right? Like, we get to focus on agriculture and animal health and, have all of our relationships. But now we have the benefit of the greater ModOp, right? Like, all of that expertise and knowledge that we can draw upon.
So what's the core of the ModOp group and kind of culture and how you help agribusiness?
Yeah, so ModOp, just to back up a little bit, everyone is always like, what is the name of that agency? ModOp. So it's short for modus operandi. So the way we do business. So, our MO or mod op is how we do business. And it's really, service first. I think that relationships are so critical and important. And, we're across the country, we're in different countries, but yet we're able to sort of network and maintain those relationships and draw upon each other and be successful in those ways. Our clients were growing, and when we had the agency that I owned, our clients were growing and they had bigger demands and they had more needs. And so we wanted to ensure that, we were there for them with that level of support. And that's what ModOp really provides, right? Like, we have people that are excellent at digital. We have people that do research. We have people that do experiential displays, you name it. We've got an expert in that category. And so it's been a great team to be a part of.
So you got more resources to help people. Are you old school, or are these definitions even relevant in today's era?
I think I'm old school still in a few ways, probably the thing that people would, I'm a big believer of being together and working in person when possible. And, going through COVID, a lot of people shifted from that, and, we had to really. But I think whenever possible, when people can be together and in a room, the collaboration that happens and sort of like the creative energy that comes from like being in a room. We have a big whiteboard in our office that we love to like work on and think on. And so I guess that's a little bit old school about me, but I also try to stay on top of trends, right? Like, I love pop culture. I'm a huge sports fan. Like, I'm like active with what's going on, outside of the office as well. And so keeping my finger on the pulse of that, I realize is also important.
So do you have like a core solution when you're working with a client on how to drive like a result?
I think that changes every time, right? There's not one go-to solution. But I do think the solutions have been best when, we'd love to be able to sit side by side with our clients, right? Like, side by side with them, help them solve the problem, understand it. I think it's really important that you have a passion for the industry you're working in to some degree, because if you're going to write about it, market about it, you've got to really understand it. So, we work with animal health companies. So understanding a vaccine or how it works or why a producer might utilize it, that's part of the process. So I think having that deep understanding of your client, their products, sitting side by side with them, being able to bring them thought leadership, being able to challenge them, right? Like, sometimes people say they want to be challenged, but when you challenge them, they don't necessarily like it. And that's fine, but our job is to provide that challenge. And then, they are ultimately the decision maker there.
So for today's media, do you feel like storytelling, education, and influence marketing is kind of where things have shifted to get a message out over traditional advertising, commercials, or advertisements like in magazines?
There's definitely been a shift. Absolutely. Does that mean that traditional advertising is dead and gone? No. I think there's definitely still a place for that in your marketing mix. But I think that with the availability of data and technology, we're able to do so much more, right? Like, we can customize those messages, we can hyper target where they go so that we're getting more authentic messages to our intended target, when and where and how they want to receive it.
So with a shift, like several years ago, it kind of shifted to digital, and it's kind of completely come full circle now with like apps, influencers, social media. Did it happen overnight, or was it trending over a period of time?
Oh, trending, absolutely, right? Like, I think being able to see the trends coming is what sets some people apart, right? Being able to like see it's coming, take a chance on it, risk taking. I think as having been an entrepreneur and, in business for a lot of years, taking risk and taking chances is a big part of success, right? Like, you've got to be willing to take a chance. And so when you see that technology coming, how do I how do I learn how to use it? How do I incorporate it to what I'm doing for myself and for my clients? Where's the right fit for that? And so, you know, I think there's always something coming, right? So being able to step back and see it and look at the big picture and acknowledge those things coming is probably what leads to a lot of great success.
We going to keep shifting with like technology that we can't forecast, or are we going to end up kind of popping the balloon and going backwards with traditional ways of communication? Or
I think we're going to keep going forward with technology, but I think that there are going to be some things that don't change, right? Like relationships. I'm a huge relationship person. And so even though we're going to have great technology and, you know, artificial intelligence is going to help us write things and, you know, we're going to have lots and lots of technology tools at our, you know, available to use. The core of it is still going to be relationships and hard work, right? Like you got to be willing to work hard. You got to be willing to put in the time and, you know, building your team, like having a team of people that you can lean on and that can lean on you and that you can learn and grow from is going to continue to, I think, still be the foundation of all successful plans.
so 2023, what trends are you seeing in the field for success?
Trends. I mean, the obvious one would be, you know, artificial intelligence. How are we using that? How aren't we using that? And, you know, again, like it's changing every day, right? So we are definitely using it here at ModOp in different ways. We have like even an internal working committee that the agency has to look at all the AI options and how they can be best utilized and integrated into clients. And so, you know, that's another great thing too about being part of ModUp is there's lots of people thinking about lots of things, right? So if we can all come together and share that knowledge, then hopefully we can learn faster and get there faster for our clients. I also think besides technology and the use of that data and how we apply it, we're seeing like issues that are important to people definitely, or to our targets, rise and bubble to the top. So for instance, you know, sustainability is definitely key in a lot of different messaging that a lot of different companies are doing. And I feel like farmers are some of the original stewards of the land. So they've always been sustainable and that's always been important to farmers, but they haven't always like told people that it's important to them. So, you know, how do we share that message with the end consumer or even with people along the way to like find ways to convey that as a company, we have that shared value of sustainability and make that connection with customers.
So Leigh Ann, what makes you a brilliant or standout marketer?
Well, thank you. I would credit number one, hard work and determination, right? Like, yes, I got lucky along the way too, and luck never hurts, but I'm not afraid to work hard and I expect it of others as well. You know, I think I wish I had the exact quote, but Elon Musk once said, you know, like, hey, I expect hard work, but I don't expect anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And that's sort of how I work as well, right? Like I put the time in to learn. I'm available for our clients no matter what, because, you know, we're a service industry and that's how it works, right? Like that's what sets us aside. So I think hard work and determination. I also think that like curiosity and continuous learning, right? Like, what is the new technology? How does it work? What is this TikTok thing? Like, let's make a video and see how it works and how easy is it? And does that drive business or is it just a fun thing? And then I feel like I've said this over and over again, but like relationships and in my team, right? Like I've had great relationships with people throughout the industry, be it in my own agency, in other companies, with the media, with other suppliers that we work with. Like having that network of people has helped me rise through my career.
So how do you utilize your team to kind of drive success? Because I think that's sometimes underrated is how do we utilize the people around us for the greater good of everyone?
Yeah, I mean, it's you probably hear it a lot, but it's true. I mean, I'll say it again, right? Like surround yourself with great people and it'll make you even better, right? Like they're not afraid to challenge me. I'm not afraid to challenge them. We have really open, great conversations. They can do things that I can't and vice versa, right? So like that, that collaboration and that teamwork, we're there for each other to lift each other up and celebrate our successes too.
So what about like a specific plan, marketing plan that you've executed that was successful? Did anything come top of mind?
One plan that we had, not this year, but last year that we executed was at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. We got to work with a customer there, and it was for National Ag Day. It was a celebration. And so it was the opportunity to tell the news of agriculture, that sustainability message, feeding the world, that are so important to so many people, right in the heart of America, right? With so iconic. So it was a great opportunity to use public relations, advertising, media relations, technology. Like it really gave us the opportunity to utilize a lot of different tools to tell a message that was so important to so many people. And, you know, I think in the end it resonated for a lot of reasons, but number one, because it's really a message that people care about, right? And so because it was a message that was easy for people to get their arms around and care about, it was exciting to see people's faces light up, like when they learned something that they didn't know, or we were able to teach them, you know, about things that are going on in agriculture.
So in sports, sometimes the best teams with the best records don't win the championships. Do the best plans win the awards all the time?
Not always. Nope. You know, I think, do they win a lot of times? Yeah, probably. Do they win all the time? No. I think sometimes the best plans aren't the flashiest, right? Sometimes the best plans are really hardworking, and, you know, depending on what the objective was for your client, there was a lot of the work sort of, it wasn't showy and it wasn't fancy, but it was doing the job and moving the, you know, maybe their customer where you wanted to get to. And so awards are great. Everybody loves to win awards, right? But I don't think we can judge our success purely on awards.
And as an entrepreneur, kind of almost a lifetime entrepreneur, what did you learn the most? What have you learned the most so far along the way?
I think it's unpredictable, right? Like you don't know what's coming next. So you've got to be ready to adapt and shift and change and learn. And so, you know, being willing to put in the time, being willing to learn, surrounding yourself with those good people, and just having a good time while you're doing it too, right? Like, I think sometimes we get so caught up in it, we forget to step back and just really appreciate the opportunities we have and the people that we work with. And so, you know, we used to sort of, the work hard, play hard mantra was one that we use a lot, because we do work really hard, but we like to celebrate and enjoy time together as a team.
I know you mentioned relationships a lot, and I think sometimes even younger people don't understand that it takes time to build relationships. And part of that is having trust with people. You've been active at a lot of shows, events in the National Agri Marketing Association. So how do you go about building authentic relationships from scratch?
I think building up authentic relationships requires, you have to be there, right? You have to be there physically, and you have to be there with your mindset and your brain. Like, don't just attend the meeting, like participate in the meeting, join a committee, get to know people, get to know the issues that are important, be a contributor, right? Like help come up with ideas, depending on what it is. Sometimes maybe I'm way behind the scenes doing something. Maybe sometimes I'm at the front leading the team, and all those people are important, right? So be willing to, wherever you are on that team, take an active role and be a contributor. And I think that will build those authentic relationships, because people will get to know you better, because they'll get to see how you work, how you think, what's important to you, and then those shared values will bring you together.
Yeah, so be present, be available, go above and beyond. Like you said, it's easy to just show up and and be there, but how can you stand out and show that's a great point. Can you describe like one brief statement for each of the following words and how it makes you skilled? We'll start with strategic leader.
Big picture.
Change agent.
Uncomfortable.
Marketing and communications.
Creative.
Public relations.
Thoughtful.
Advertising.
I'm going to go back to my creative.
Branding.
Authentic.
Agriculture.
Oh man, that should be the easy one, right? Like that's the one that sort of stumped me. Sustainable.
Ag equipment.
Innovative.
And ag tech.
Ever changing.
So on a personal side, you're a sports fan. I think I know your favorite teams, but can you share your favorite teams or something people will be surprised to know about you?
Sure. So yes, I'm a huge sports fan. The Kansas City Chiefs. It's a good time to be a Chiefs fan, right? Like we're here in the successful years of the Chiefs fan. So I am a huge Chiefs fan. Patrick Mahomes is my guy. I grew up in Nebraska, so college football has always been a big part of my life as well. Unfortunately, my Huskers aren't doing so well right now. So I was able to adopt some college teams. My oldest son went to Arkansas. So the Razorbacks have become a favorite. And then my younger son is currently at Kansas University. And so the Jayhawks as well are a favorite of mine. So I have quite a conglomeration of teams. People give me a hard time sometimes. They're like, well, you're just trying to pick the team that's the best. They're like, you can't choose Kansas football and then choose, some Razorback football, right? Like that's not fair. You gotta pick a team. But I love the sport. I love the game. I think there are so many parallels that come from sports to business, in terms of hard work and rising to the challenge, in the moment of, defeat or hard times, and then just teamwork, right? And believing in yourself and believing in your team. So to answer the end of that question, what's something that people might not know? So sort of along the line of sports, what people might not know is I was in the band. So I grew up with sports from being a band kid, right? And I was a trombone player in the band, so the marching band. So I got to go out during the football games and be on the field, not as a player, but marching band. So there's my, did you know?
You're in a marching band, you love sports. I think with the Kansas City, the Royals and the Chiefs, the last 10 years, it's been a good run. But before that, it wasn't, as you probably aware. And when Nebraska, were you a fan with Scott Frost and Tom Osborne?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Scott Frost and I were at Nebraska when he played at the same time. So I got to be there, during the years of the championship. So I've seen the best and now I've seen the worst. So we're hoping we're on the upside again, but we're coming. This is our year.
The shared championship year, with Michigan, the 1 year. So do you feel like sometimes with sports and business, failure is a way to learn?
Yes. Nobody likes to fail. Failure is not great, but I think that is also what sets apart great leaders and people that succeed, right? Is how do you take that failure? How do you learn from it? How do you grow from it? And it's easier said than done, right? Like everybody says that, oh, like learn from your failures, there'll be a new opportunity, but it's hard. It's hard to take that failure and to do sort of like introspective, like what should have I done differently? What could have I done differently? But in the end, I do think that, that introspective look helps you grow and find the next opportunity.
We got two more questions. The next one, you might not want to give away the secret, but is there an innovation we need to be aware of in agro marketing?
I think, I don't think agri-marketing is really that different than a lot of industries right now in terms of innovations. And the one that is certainly top of mind, and you hear a lot of people talking about, is, generational AI and how you incorporate that into your business, right? And I think that's going to be maybe the trick. It's out there, but how you use it and how you apply it is going to be what sets you apart and will make others more successful.
And what does the next Leigh Ann Cleaver need to do to set up on a path towards success?
I would say, don't be afraid to roll your sleeves up and work, right? Like, not just in the office, but like go out and see your customers, like be, in a feedlot with them, or out in their field with them, or, riding in a tractor with them, like understand how they think, what's important to them, what drives, what makes them tick, because then that'll make your ideas and recommendations more authentic, right? Like if you're out there and understand them better, I think it makes us able to be better communicators with them. To follow along my theme of relationships, you gotta build your network, right? Like get out there, join a committee, go to a meeting, be present, participate. And I think just have fun, right? Like, my goodness, we get to work in this industry and there's so much going on, and it's really a transformational time, and we get to be a part of it. So don't forget to like enjoy the time that we have with your teammates and in the industry and doing what we love to do.
Well, thanks for the great insight and joining us today, Leigh Ann.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.